mercury good? No. I talked to a dentist about this. He says, yeah, there's mercury in there. No, mercury is not good. Does some of it leach out into your body? Very, very, very minute quantities. But when you weigh that against the fact that if your teeth rot out of your head, you can't eat, and you could die from a raging infection from dental decay, it's better to have mercury in your teeth. They've since replaced mercury with other things, the white fillings. Okay? Too much Tylenol. Tylenol, oh, it's so good, you can give it to your babies, and you can. But if you take too much Tylenol, you will get cirrhosis of the liver. Trust me, I know. I have a family member who has that problem. So every time you take any medicine, before any medicine is approved, the good is weighed against the bad. And if the good shows that it's far superior to the bad, that medicine is approved. That vaccine is improved. So, are there things in the coronavirus vaccine that aren't good for you? I don't doubt that at all, because it's that way with each and every medicine. When I was bitten by that, had the attack on me of that pit bull, okay, that chewed me up, they put me on amoxicillin. And they did that because, look, you got dog bite wounds. That's a big deal. If they get infected, that's a dirty wound. If it gets infected, you could be in bad shape. So I was on amoxicillin for 2 weeks. And for those 2 weeks, the way amoxicillin affects me, I had diarrhea. I had literal butt pee for 2 weeks because that's the way amoxicillin affects me, all right? But the thing is, let's see, have a little bit of diarrhea, but I have a lot of diarrhea, but don't die from an infection from a dog bite. Okay, I think I'll take the amoxicillin. It's that way with all medicine. It's that way with all vaccines. It's that way with absolutely everything. Nothing is 100% good when it comes to a drug or a vaccine or a medicine. It's all 90-10, 95-5, 99-1. There's always some bad with the good. So before your conspiracy theories go out there, there you go, Strong, you've drunk the Kool-Aid too. No, I haven't. I think I've researched this enough so that I have a very good understanding of this. Now, does that make me right and you wrong? Actually, it probably does. Let's go ahead and get into the essay for today, Racism, Diversity, and Fairness. And I talked about this in the last podcast 2 weeks ago, podcast 250. But I'm going to go ahead and expand on this because on the outside, okay, who is for racism? Who is against diversity? Who is against fairness? The answer is nobody. The answer is almost nobody. Sure, there are people out there who think racism is wonderful. There's people out there that think we need no diversity. There are people out there who think that we don't need to be fair at all because if you be fair, fairness is just that's a weakness. Okay, but the number of people who believe that are at best a rounding error, and they don't hold any real power in the world. They just don't. They used to, but they just don't anymore because it's not accepted. However, when you use terms like racism, diversity, and fairness, you have to understand that who applies the definition. And that is when you start going down the slippery slope. And I would use 3 examples of racism, diversity, and fairness gone awry. The Golden Globe Awards, Hollywood, and Major League Baseball. Now, I will start up front by saying there will be some who listen to this podcast who think I am 100% off base, who think that I'm against diversity, who think I am not a fair individual. And there will even be some who say that, well, Strong, what you're saying is very racist. Be careful with what you're saying. I would challenge you to, if you think that's the case, I would challenge you to listen to 100% of the podcast. And if you still think I'm off base, if you still think I'm being racist against diversity and against fairness, please send me an email or an instant message or whatever you want to do. JamesStrongShow@hotmail.com. I challenged people the last time around to do this too, and I received a lot of correspondence, none of which, by the way, nailed me to a cross. All of which said, you know what, Strong, good deal, you're right, I couldn't agree more, thank you for sharing. Now, again, if I'm off base with this essay here, let me know. I'm always open for constructive criticism. Racism, diversity, and fairness. Okay, who defines it? Nobody's against it, but it depends on who defines it. Here's a news flash. Those that are bastardizing the definition are losing me, and they're losing a lot of people, a whole lot of people. Case in point, the Golden Globe Awards. Now, once upon a time, when I was younger, I loved the movies. I was a big motion picture fan. Growing up in a large family, mom and dad had 6 kids. I was the oldest of the 6. And one of the biggest things that we would do for entertainment as a family is on the weekends. I'm not going to say, I would say most weekends. By most, I mean more than 50%. Not every weekend, but more than 50% of weekends, usually Friday or Saturday night, we would pack up the family station wagon and go to the drive-in. And for kids were free. I think mom and dad paid like $1.50 a head. So for $3 and all the snacks mom could load into the back of the wagon, we had an evening of entertainment. 3 movies for $3 for 8 people. So it was a good deal, okay? And we saw lots of movies, a whole lot of movies. My parents were movie fans. They caused my brothers and sister and I to be big movie fans. I was a huge motion picture fan. When motion pictures were just that, entertainment. Before they came a social message, before the actors decided to get on to soapboxes and preach to me about how I was not being a good person. Richard Burton may have been the first one that lost me way back when Richard Burton, who was a womanizing, alcoholic, multi-millionaire, and by the way, an atheist and a avowed communist. Yeah, a multimillionaire who was an avowed communist. And somebody asked him, well, if you're an avowed communist, why do you keep these millions of dollars? And he said, well, it has nothing to do with it. Well, Richard Burton lost me. And as actors and actresses started going more towards that, I'm better than you, I'm preaching to you, okay, you're a better actor than me, you can memorize lines and recite them in front of a camera better than me, but friend, you're not smarter than me. In fact, some of you guys, a box of rocks may be smarter than you, but that's another story for another day. The Golden Globe Awards. I always enjoyed the Golden Globe Awards more than the Academy Awards, mainly 2 reasons. First of all, the Golden Globe Awards are held in what could possibly be, in fact, yeah, I will say is in my opinion, my favorite hotel in the whole world. And that's the Beverly Hilton in Beverly Hills, California. I've stayed there many times. It's a beautiful hotel. It's old school LA. It's old school Hollywood. It's old school everything. You would swear that if you're sitting at Trader Vic's having a beer or a cocktail poolside at the Beverly Hilton, you just wait for Marilyn Monroe to walk by. You just wait for Cary Grant to come by. You just wait for Steve McQueen to sit by the pool and light up a cigarette. It's that type of atmosphere. And the Golden Globe Awards are held in the ballroom of the Beverly Hilton. And it's not a huge venue. It's kind of like a big, let's see, well, I'm trying to think of a venue around here. The Fox Theater is bigger than this. The Kiel Opera House, much bigger than this. The auditorium at the Beverly Hilton is kind of like, it's like a big school auditorium, okay? It's kind of like that. And the Hollywood Foreign Press, who ran this. I don't know what they are. That's just their organization. That's just their name. But they would let the people get up there. They let them talk. The alcohol flowed freely. The interviews were entertaining and fun. And I mean, when you see your favorite actor or actress get loopy and start being dopey, it's kind of fun. Okay. No different than when you and I go off for a beer or two and it turns into 3 or 4 and then we say stupid stuff. It was entertaining. Okay. Nobody took it seriously. And when anybody would say anything, they say, yeah, well, I know he said that and that was kind of insensitive and wrong, but what the heck? They were drunk. They were having a good time and everybody just dismissed it. Not so much anymore. There's an article about the Golden Globes. Now the Golden Globes are done. Did you watch them on TV? Did you see them streamed live? Of course you didn't, because the Golden Globes were canceled. The media canceled the Golden Globe Awards. They refused to air them because they're sexist, racist, and they lack diversity. Here's the article by Vanessa Thorpe. Those shining orbs, the Golden Globe Awards, have well and truly lost their luster. Unloved and almost unattended, the prize-giving ceremony that once promised more Hollywood entertainment value than any other, with close-ups of tipsy stars and unguarded moments, will not even be screened on network TV. Its demotion follows a series of rows over its dubious practices and lack of diversity. Yet the event at the Beverly Hilton Hotel comes as Hollywood tries to cling on to its glistening fingernails to all the traditional allure and hoopla of the awards season. 2 years after film making against a background of COVID infections and international restrictions, the industry sorely needs to keep up the illusion of glamour and fun that helps to bankroll its biggest productions. Now, despite efforts to quickly reconfigure the nominations and voting process behind the awards and to emphasize its philanthropic arm, the 2022 Golden Globe Awards are likely to make a fairly lame first outing. No red carpet buildup, no live stream. As a campaigner, Melissa Silverstein, the founder and publisher of Women in Hollywood, told The Observer, which, by the way, this is who Vanessa Thorpe writes for, told The Observer this weekend, 2 weekends ago, if an award is handed out alone in a forest with nobody looking, did it really happen at all? Good point, by the way. Silverstein, who also directs the Athena Film Festival, added, the Golden Globes were always the awards where the nominees would be a little drunk by the time they got their awards and people would turn in to enjoy themselves. But they have really fallen away this year. They can't get anybody to go to it. It's sad, but they deserved it, as they treated people horribly. When women actors were put in front of the press, the Hollywood Foreign Press, who runs the Golden Globes, were put in front of the press in the past, they had to answer questions about their babies and their personal lives. The awards organizers felt they had all the power. Shame on everybody, though, for letting it go on for so long. I'm sure many nominees will be relieved to know they don't have to go through that anymore. Now, the awards are ran by the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, the HFPA, which was last year called to account for its ethical failings and failure to reflect the wider film world, as well as to answer questions about its finances. In 2019, none of the 87 members were black. So they recruited 21 more to improve diversity, but that was dismissed as tokenism. These claims, echoed by stars such as Scarlett Johansson, who refused to take part in the events, claiming that sexist questions from members bordered on sexual harassment, and Tom Cruise, who returned his 3 awards, led to boycotts for most of the leading public relations firms with which the HFPA was once hand in satin glove. None of the industry magazines is promoting the event this year. NBC has pulled out of a broadcast arrangement, and A-list stars have refused to attend. In other words, it took part, but nobody showed up, and it wasn't streamed or filmed or recorded. Now, in ending the article, over the past 5 years or so, diversity has become the watchword, and the industry has become vocal in wanting to embrace change. You see it in the awards season and in the reporting of awards.